Hello, ladies and gentlemen of TikTok. I have a question for you guys. What the is going on with guys not approaching women anymore? Like, if I make eye contact with you and you're checking me out and you're staring at me for like 10 minutes, I don't know, maybe stop being creepy and come up and say hello? I don't know. Food for thought. Like, why aren't you guys approaching women anymore? Like, I was at a bar and everyone is in their own groups, not approaching strangers. Like, not one guy, not even just for me, not one guy went up to a girl and just started talking to her. It was so weird. And I'm like, how am I supposed to meet people? How are we supposed to meet people if y'all are just gonna be creeps with your camera phones and take pictures and stare but not say anything? Talk to us. We don't bite unless you ask.
Some guy just asked me out at the grocery store. And although I said no, obviously, because I'm not interested in a relationship at all right now, it was very sweet, you know? You gotta appreciate a man that's bold enough to come up to you, tell you he's seen you, and ask you out. I think that's so sweet. So women, if you are not interested in a guy, don't be mean about it. Simply say no, you know? Say you have a boyfriend or something. So, just throwing it out there. Guys, don't be afraid to approach us. Be bold. It'll win you points.
So, I've been single for a while now. And everyone says you're not going to meet anyone just sitting at home. So, I thought I'd go out for the evening. I got up, got dressed, walked around the Walmart for 2 hours in my best fleece sleep pants. And all I left with was a Netflix and chill with a half-baked Ben and Jerry.
So these modern women are a tad upset, just a bit angry at the fact that men are no longer approaching them. Okay, and really the reason for this, I'll tell you exactly the reason for this, is because of women who are ruining it for girls like you who want to be approached, right? So you're really crying at the wrong folks here. Who you should be complaining to are your fellow sisters, right? Your fellow sisters who are just completely being mean to these guys. I mean, just to put it mildly, right? They're just really being mean to these guys who do work up the courage, work up the balls, work up the nerve to approach them. Because a lot of what these girls fail to realize is the fact that it takes a lot of courage for a guy to walk up to a woman and approach her, right? I am a cold approach pickup artist, by the way. I'm a professional pickup artist. I've been doing this my entire adult life. And one of the biggest sticking points, we call it a sticking point, that guys struggle with is something called approach anxiety, right? They have approach anxiety because they're in fear that you will destroy them. That is the biggest fear, right? And essentially, not to dive into a pickup lesson here, but I mean, essentially that's part of the game. That's part of her little female test that she gives you, and that's your opportunity to prove that you have the backbone, you have the spine to withstand her little female tests, and just, you know, show her that it doesn't faze you, right? And show her you're a cool guy, and throw it back at her, and not kowtow to her, not let her pull you out of your frame, not let her frazzle you, or make you go inside your head. But these are all things I teach you. If you want to learn how to cold approach a girl, get into 7 months of mastery, click the link below, right? However, I've seen a lot of women just like these women I featured tonight complaining that guys do not approach them anymore. And I've often told guys, right, as a professional PUA, I've told guys that pickup has not become harder, it has actually become easier. And not just a little bit easier, but 1,000 times easier. Why? Because there are very few guys out there doing this anymore. I remember back in the day, right, especially at the height of pickup artistry, which was the mid-2000s. This is when Mystery was around. This is when the television show The Pickup Artist was on VH1. And, you know, I definitely helped work on that show behind the scenes. I did not want to ruin my corporate career at that time. I kind of regret that. I probably should have gotten more involved. But regardless, I gamed with a number of those guys from the TV show, including Mystery's main wingman, Matador. Also, I've met J-Dog. That was the guy from the first episode, and then I had a student or two that actually appeared as students on the second the second part 2 of the Pickup Artist, which didn't do as well as the first. But there you go. Regardless, at the height of game, at the height of pickup, it was actually very difficult, right? The reason why it was difficult was because there were so many guys out there learning this stuff. So many guys going out to these venues, right? If you went to any venue, especially in Hollywood or any major city, I guarantee that that venue was packed with like 45, like probably over half of them were pickup artists. Maybe 75% of those guys in there were doing game, were using the same lines that they learned from like a mystery or somebody else, or maybe even from me, right? They were all doing this stuff. And the women knew it back then. And you would have a number of women just tell you constantly, like, how are you guys all know each other? How come this other guy just, like the last 5 guys just said the same exact thing to me that you just said? You know, and it was getting repetitive, right? And I mean, girls were like calling guys out, like they knew the terminology. They're like, "Sir, are you trying to neg me right now, sir? I know what a neg is. Are you trying to do that to me?" You know, and then you'd have to play it off like, "No, what does that mean?" You know, whereas today, it is an open field for you to plow these days, and I'm telling you that, as serious as I can tell you, pickup in game has never been easier. I've been asked a number of times, like especially by haters, when you gonna retire? Getting too old for this pickup stuff. And I'm like, hey, as soon as I see some decent competition, maybe I'll think about it. But I don't see any competition in sight, especially these days. I thought by now I would have hung it up. I would have been like, nah, man, those younger guys, you know, back in the day, I was like, oh, they're gonna take over. They're good. They're gonna be learning this stuff. They'll take it to the next level, and I will go right off in the sunset with my beautiful women. I'm still doing it. I'm still flying my fighter plane, just like in Maverick. Just like in Maverick. Go see that movie. It's a great movie, by the way. Just like in Top Gun 2 Maverick. I really love that movie. I've seen it 3 times already. Just for the fact that I so relate to that. The fact that he's still a pilot. He just wants to fly planes. That's all he knows how to do. He's the best at it. And even though these younger pilots are coming in, they're just not as good as him. They can't get the job done. They're lacking his experience. So I kind of feel the same way with pickup. That should have been my little call sign instead of M. Should have got one by Maverick. That would have been awesome, right? But anyway, I'm still out there, right? Why? Because it's become easier and easier and easier. Because so few guys are doing this, right? When I come up to a chick, I could give her the cheesiest, most overused pickup line in the pickup community, and she'll have no idea where I got that from. Even though I don't like to use canned routines. I've never been a fan of those, by the way. Right? I always use situational openers because those are situational, which means that they're constantly changing, right? They're evergreen. They're not like these canned openers that, like, say, Mystery used to give you. Like, hey, do you floss or do you brush? You know, I mean, I could make that work because I have enough experience to make that work and make the girl laugh, but I don't advise using that. However, back in the day, there's so many guys who were using that, and so many girls were so tired of hearing that. But I guarantee you, go out there and use that old school mystery method stuff, even that will work, right? It will work because these chicks have not been approached in years, right? So few guys approach them, unless they're like maybe at a club or something like that. Yeah, you'll still see some guys do some really terrible game, some really terrible cold approach. And that's probably the saddest thing I've seen with just men in general the last 5+ years, is really the level of talent that I was used to competing against has just completely disintegrated into complete patheticness. I'm so sad for these younger guys coming in with no knowledge and, you know, just no understanding of social dynamics or social mastery or social acuity, pickup game, cold approach. And they're coming in there with their blue pill selves, being indoctrinated from their college professors, you know, and being led to believe that men can have babies and there's like 65 genders, and coming into the nightclub in Hollywood, the hot club, going up against a guy who is older than their dad, who is a professional pickup artist, and stealing their girlfriends, which I have done many, many times proudly. And hopefully they learned a lesson from it to learn some game so you can hang on to your girl, right? But essentially, this is what we're dealing with today, are a bunch of guys who are socially inept And even guys who aren't socially inept, guys who've just written off women, right? For whatever reason, they've written off women, which I'm not on board with. I mean, if you want to go your own way, great. But inevitably, there's a reason why God put us here to be together, both male and female. Yes, we have our differences. We absolutely do, right? And yes, there are dangers with both sexes. Absolutely. This is why I teach you the red pill stuff, right? This is why I teach you about female nature. And so you could be made aware of those dangers. And so you can overstep them and protect yourselves, right? But that doesn't mean that you entirely just swear off women. I mean, if you do that, you're going to affect your quality of life. Your life is just not going to be as, at the level that it could be, right? It's kind of like, I always equate this to like eating healthy versus eating junk food, right? Of course, you don't want to eat junk food 24/7, but if all you do is eat, rice, if all you do is eat chicken breast and spinach, every single day, I mean, you got to give yourself a break every once in a while. Every once in a while, you have to just go to, Taco Bell. You just have to go to, get your burger and fries or something, right? Just give yourself a little bit of enjoyment. Just give yourself a little bit of relaxation, right? I always talk about balance in life. You have to have balance in every aspect of your life, because if you're just too much this way or too much that way and you have no balance, then you're going to affect your quality of life, right? So this is why I continue to date women. I have a girlfriend right now, despite what I know about female nature. But I just try to choose the best, most high caliber, most traditional woman that I can, that is the most submissive, the most nurturing, the most supportive, and the most respectful and the most appreciative of me. That's what I try to look for. And any girls I find that aren't like that can't provide that, they're done, right? They're done. I just don't date them long term. I get rid of them. That's all you have to do. You just have to filter, right? And that's essentially what it boils down to, But I mean, it gets to the point where it gets old after a while if you're just constantly going solo out there, or you're constantly just spending all of your time with your boys, right? There has to be a balance to that. Just like if you're constantly spending all of your time with your girl, you can't do that, right? You have to have some balance. You have to have men in your life too. So I try to balance all that as best as I can and keep my quality of life high, where I'm constantly thriving, I'm constantly smiling. You see me in my coaching videos. I'm always having a good time. Even if I'm tired, I'm just grateful, I'm thankful. I've got a great quality of life. I've got great family, great chick, great animals. I can't complain. I mean, is it always, is it always a bowl of cherries? No. I mean, it gets stressful at times. My cortisol levels go up, but you know what? I have that balance, and I have a good quality of life, and you need that, right? You need that. So when it comes to just swearing off women completely, I don't think that is going to lead you to, be mentally healthy forever. I mean, it's going to wear on you after a while. Just being alone by yourself after so long, it starts to wear on you, right? It's very difficult. I mean, I was just watching this movie Castaway with Tom Hanks before he went all like crazy woke. You ever watch Castaway, where he was like in a FedEx plane or something, and the thing crashed on some island? He was the only survivor, so he basically got stuck on this island by himself for months. Yeah, it was like months or years, something like that. And essentially, he really missed human communication, human interaction, and he started communicating with a volleyball, right? Wilson! That became his communication. That became his friend, because as humans, that's what we need. We need each other, right? Men need women. Women need men. Okay, it doesn't mean you need to rely on them, but we need each other. So when I hear these chicks complaining about, getting back to the video, complaining about men don't approach them anymore, that's really due to the fact that they have to call out their own sisters on that, right? But it's also due to the fact that men are being told that doing that is harassment, it's toxic, it's a nuisance, and all this other stuff. Whereas I've never had that happen to me, right? I've never had that happen to me. And any students that I've trained, beyond that social awkwardness, has not had that problem since, if it's happened to them in the past, right? So a lot of it is social calibration. A lot of it is charisma, really, right? Just being charismatic. And that is why I always say that like pickup in game is like such a valuable skill that's so transcendental beyond just picking up women. But you know, you could use this to get valuable jobs. I was able to get a, you know, 6-figure corporate job with a Fortune 100 back in the day when I was broke. I was able to replace my, you know, replenish my bank account, buy a top-down Mercedes within 6 months of joining that company. I was able to, I mean, I've been in life-threatening situations where my life was at risk, and I was able to save myself because I had that social acuity that I learned from so many years of doing pickup and game. So this, I mean, this is something that is just priceless, that you can use in every aspect of your life. But the fact that I see so many guys just learning basic social skills, are not learning basic social skills, they're just really affecting their ability to bond with the opposite sex, to get girlfriends, to, you know, get into these relationships, to really experience life and really enjoy life, you know. And it's sad, but a lot of it is just due to factors such as dating apps. That's probably a big one. Dating apps have ballooned women's egos and sense of entitlement, where you have these chicks who are 4s thinking they're 9s. That's where we get the term 49er. And these chicks who are trying to get guys who are like model looking, even when they're a fat, overweight 5 at best, having realistic expectations. So when a guy who is of their physical attractiveness level, if they're a 5 and a guy who's a 5 approaches them, they'll be like, oh, gross, ew, I've got a guy liking my photos on Snapchat who's a 9. Why should I even give you the time of day? But what these chicks don't understand is like, that guy is just giving you charity. He's just going to give you a charity bang and send you on your way, right? He's just going to give you a little bit of sympathy, and that's about all you're going to get. He's never going to introduce you to his friends, his family, his parents. You're not going to get any of that. You know who you'll get that from? The guy who's a 5, right? Maybe a guy who's a 6. Once you start going beyond that as a chick, all bets are off, right? These guys are not going to want to commit. They're just going to use you for sex, money, favors, just like how women use men. Works both ways, right? So when it comes to cold approaching, I mean, I still do it personally, and it has not gotten harder as much as I thought it would. Me getting older, it's just gotten easier. It's just gotten easier. It's even to the point where my business is thriving. Even during like the Roni, my boot camps were full. It got to the point I couldn't take anybody else. It was packed through 2020, all the way into 2021. I was still making up for guys who signed up in 2020 during the pandemic. I was sneaking guys on my boot camp, like I was doing a casino floor game because a lot of the clubs were closed. I mean, it was just insane how priceless this skill is, and how few guys have the ability to still do it, still teach it, and, you know, still go out there and perform at a high level, you know. But again, it's become easier because so many of these chicks are not expecting you to cold approach them, right? But you have to do it in the right way. You have to do it in a way that's not creepy. I mean, that's not something that's ever changed. You could go back 30 years and you still had to be non-creepy. You had to have a bit of charisma, social acuity, social calibration, and you can get the girl, right? And these days, like I said, it's become even easier. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Get into 7 months of mastery, son. But as always, gentlemen, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think about tonight's coaching video and what these girls had to say. Any experiences of your own that you would like to share, drop your comments below. I always love to see you guys in my comments. I always love to read your comments. So please feel free to drop your comments below. With that said, this is M from the 33 Secrets. Go ahead and smash that like button below. Do it now. Also, hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Helps me out a ton when you guys subscribe, so please make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. And for all you guys who want to support my work and all of this incredible, amazing red pill, gold pill, and platinum pill content that I am teaching you even further, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I'm teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women on the planet. I am talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s, baby. The hottest women on the planet. Okay, I teach you how to do that in 7 Months of Mastery. And you know what? I have tons thousands upon thousands of successful students now all around the world. Okay, a lot of these guys often drop comments in my comment section talking about how they're in my program, they've met their dream girl, they've met their future wife. I've had a number of students who've been through my 7 months of mastery program already met their wife thanks to my teachings, right? They met a high value, high caliber, hot wife, right? Way above what they were able to get previously before they jumped into my program, 7 months of mastery. They were able to get a girl who was much, much more attractive, much hotter, and much higher value thanks to my teachings. And you know what? I want you to become one of them. Even if you don't plan on getting married, find yourself a cool chick, a high value chick, not one of these like low value, like DG single moms, or women who are passive prime or damaged goods or anything like that. I want to teach you how to go out there and get high value women, just like my students are all around the world. You can become one of us, and all you need to do is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds, and it's only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons. So it's only $1 for the entire first month of high value coaching lessons from me. So take advantage of it. And it's the best way to support my work, guys. And thank you very much if you do. I appreciate it. Thanks in advance. And let's crack on out of here.